Hi, everybody, and welcome to Reed's Reach, Spider-Man Crawl Space Edition. Check us out at thespidermancrawlspace.com. I'm back, everyone, of course, to review the most latest issue of Amazing Spider-Man with issue 57, aka 951 Legacy by Zeb Wells and John Romita Jr. as we get the next part of the Tombstone arc that is, of course, reaching up as we get closer to the end of this run with issue 60. So how did everything fare here after pretty much a very good previous anniversary issue? Well, let's get into the pros. I really do like this more crime level street drama. One thing that was always good in Spider-Man, especially during the 60s, 70s, and even a lot during the early 90s, was a lot more of the street crime levels dealing with the mob and organized crime in Spider-Man. While it's always worked well for Daredevil, it's worked specifically well for Spider-Man. I do like this, even though Tombstone is a superpowered individual, and we do with a lot of ones, everything from the White Rabbit to Digger to the Sinister Syndicate and more. It feels much more grounded. And I do like the aspects they do as not only Tombstone gets out on bail, but the fact they're doing everything to get things set up with the protect Janice. It's really well done. I do like the things that have happened between Randy and Janice. As you know, she said herself, you made me fall in love with you. You made me do this, the turn against my father. And the truth is, he is a horrible man, but I can't be around to this because the truth is, it would be better if he's up the creek. And I also like the fact that both Luke Cage and She-Hulk explain to Spider-Man about how things work in the normal parts of the judicial system, especially in New York. It's a part of level that's not actually really explained much outside the pages of Daredevil or even She-Hulk's main book. And I really like the feel because it is a very realistic portrayal. And as somebody who has taught law and business law as a teacher, it does hit a lot of great facts. And I do like the pieces such as the fight scenes between the Syndicate and, of course, Digger and the White Rabbit and Spider-Man getting caught into things. And even the little switcheroo when it gets revealed that, of course, Janice, of course, was never Area, but also the big part where it's revealed that Tombstone is, of course, going to kill his own daughter off at the very end. It's a very dark drama, and I really, really enjoy this part of the story. Leading to the cons, we do see a lot of problems. For the sake of the issue, it does skip a lot of things. The return of Michelle 1.5, who is not Michelle Rodriguez, just so you know. This character has been around, and I've been following the book, of course, for the last 3 years. How she says, I did my job, I got him out on bail. The problem is that wouldn't have worked that way. That in a realistic one, Tombstone would have been there as the bail hearing was made, him putting up front, and of course, him getting out. But of course, for time's sakes, they did it. And also, we had to bring up the whole time when Peter was evil and how Michelle says, well, you know, Peter, this is kind of how life is and everything else. Of course, you like pretending to be evil, but you said you don't remember breaking our date. So you know what? See you later and good luck to you. Yeah, the character served her point here, and I got that was kind of a pot shot of everything with sins of Spider-Man and everything, but at the same time this character has really been a drag. People don't know she's a different character versus Michelle Rodriguez, who had dark hair, was partially Hispanic, and a few other things. We don't even know this Michelle's last name, and we knew that, of course, she was going to play in since she is actually Tombstone's lawyer. I can't go into too much there, but she is not a likable character, and she's a retread on somebody that was done for the past, that was done 15 years ago that served its purpose, and the writer who was part of that era doesn't remember and makes his own character. Also, there's a few other things, too, including the fact that when they have the subway train hit the squad car in the SWAT van, the truth is, destroying that would have been a little unrealistic, even in comics terms, as any breaks in the lines or connections like that would have stopped trains in the tunnel right away. I get it's comics, but there comes a part where you have this book, which is actually doing really good with city law, state law, and criminal law, and then it pulls off these couple things just to make the story work here, too. Because the truth is, when we get the switcheroo that She-Hulk is actually in the van and not Janice Lincoln, and of course, White Rabbit says herself, I couldn't do it, and he knew I couldn't do it since we were all part of the same group, and getting the ending is really nice, but it pushes itself to get there. It's actually a very strong issue by here, and honestly, everything by John Romita Jr. is well done, and I actually enjoy all the pieces there. And Wells actually crafts a pretty good story despite some hits and misses here, and it's pretty good. So believe it or not, this gets another B from me. I really did enjoy this issue. It had a really great piece. It kind of gave me a little feel of the old Howard Mackey, John Romita Jr. days back in the 90s. That kind of felt like coming home. Something our buddy JR said himself, there's kind of a familiarity and kind of a nice, like, warm blanket when we see this kind of artwork with people like John Romita. And I really do like this aspect. I mean, except for time's sake, mistakes and a couple other things. It does kind of throw things over, but here we're getting to this, and we're only about 3 issues left before it's all over. We're really wondering how this is going at it because it only can be padded out so much more. But honestly, it's a good issue, and it gets a solid B from me. So good job to the creative team there. And I don't really have anything else left for that, everybody here. I'll be back in a couple weeks, of course, to review the next part of this storyline, as well as Ultimate Spider-Man. So if you want to hear more about my reviews, think about like or subscribing here so you get that alert when you notify the bell, so that way you can get my latest reviews, as well as my other books I do here. And for more information, check us out at thespidermancrawlspace.com for all the latest news, podcasts, and more with your favorite fans, creators, and so forth. And with that said, everybody, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I'll see you later on the Crawl Space.